Should be live now. It's gonna echo.
Okay, it must be working.
Yep. So we'll answer the questions from the last video, and then, or do you want to talk about what happened?
I guess that night, about 6:30, I guess I went up to the other barn to feed the heifers. I think we let the older ones out, so we put feed down so they go in easier. I was opening the gate and it was raining hard. I knew it was raining hard. And as I was putting them in, didn't think much of it. When I got done is when I looked out the door and it was running down across the barnyard. And I turned around and then water was coming in the barn, which it has a tendency to do in the one part. And I figured, well, I'll go divert that. And as I walked in the barn, I see it wasn't coming from there. And then that's when I noticed it was coming through the windows and down the steps to the barn. It did that for probably 15, 20 minutes, and just the rain just kept coming. I looked out the back of the barn up towards where the corn got knocked down, and I could see that the neighbor's camper was floating down the road, and that's when I knew corn was probably going to take a beating. Finally, after the water kind of went down, wasn't coming in the barn, I'd already got a hold of some people without coming to help me get some water out of that barn, because I wasn't sure. It was up in their beds. Wasn't sure if it was going to stay there. So when I left, I shut the power off to the barn. Come home, got a pump around, and I couldn't come directly home because the water was across in another spot. When I got back home, got everything around, couldn't get back up there because water was across both bridges below our house, and water was still coming over really good where the road had washed out in a previous year. So it was in some place I knew I didn't want to drive across unless the water went down a lot. Finally, after a while, actually, one of the guys I called, he was able to get up there before I was because he helped somebody get a log out of the road the one way I was going to come home. And he helped them get their backhoe started so they could get the log out. He ended up getting up there before I did. Finally, the water dropped enough where it wasn't coming across the road, up the road between the two places where I could get across that, and we were able to go up there and start getting pumped out.
That was by the wheat, right?
Yeah, that was where the wheat field was. The neighbor
in the
took
video.
That video, yeah. We pumped probably until 11 o'clock up there that night. Had another friend call, said he'd bring a pump. He come just before I got back here, because the water will come in the home farm up through the drops when the water gets high, and they were able to get that down enough where we were able to stay ahead of it with our smaller pumps then. So.
Let's see. Oh, were the cows really freaked out?
I had one little Jersey bull next to the steps, and I wish I got video of that, because that was like a river rapid coming down through there. He was a little like jumping around at first, but once they just kind of settled down and the older ones, they were eating. They didn't really care. They were staying in water, but they had fresh feed, so they were more concerned about that. There's enough curb in there. The water was kind of following the curbs and it was running out both ends of the barn, the high end and the low end. So,
do we buy crop insurance?
No. I've had a few people ask me about that. My view on crop insurance, and I understand why some people buy it. I might better take that money and spread it over all my ground, because it's kind of scattered where it's not going to get hurt too much by one thing usually. So I feel my money's better spent. I usually plant about 20 acres more corn. Beans, we only do like 20 to 30 acres usually anyway. So some of them got flooded, but they are coming back. Even the corn that got knocked down up there, some of it is standing back up. It's shredded. Looks terrible, but I've been told by agronomists that it will make an ear and you will get some feed value out of it. And that's part of the reason I don't get crop insurance. So
I was thinking something. Oh, corn on storage. That's kind of.
Yeah, we
outrageous.
usually keep some on storage. Actually, we're going to have to pull from that here this week because last year was so dry. That's kind of my crop insurance. I keep some, usually try to keep a little bit of storage at the mill. I think we had 15 ton there right now. I'm probably going to pull most of that to feed the cows until we can combine we'll probably combine 20, 25 acres, just depending on
silage.
Yeah, depending on silage. I'm a little more worried about all the other corn. It needs dry weather. We figure 14, 15 inches of rain since the first of July now. Finally tonight, the air kind of dried out and is feeling different. So,
let's see. We started milking here at about 9 o'clock. That night. And then
Landon and Kendall did the milking.
Yeah.
Here.
Then we had to leave the cows inside because the water took down some fence. How many acres of corn did we lose?
First I figured it was about 15 acres. And then after I've been in it a few times, I think it's more like 10 that probably got knocked down. 5 of it probably got really knocked down. So I figure I'm going to lose yield probably off that 10 acres. I'll lose yield on about 10 acres. I figure probably get the amount of yield off maybe 4. That 10 would yield 4 or 4 acres is going to yield what that 10 would have probably, is my guess right now. Corn was really doing good. That was the first we planted.
That corn
it was just starting to tassel too. So if it got snapped off, it's gone. If it just bent over, it will grow back some.
The barn's still flooded.
Let's see. We didn't pump any water Thursday, right? We did Thursday. I guess Friday we didn't. The home farm is pretty much back to normal. We did not let cows out last night again because water was getting a little high again in the creeks. And we probably we erred on the side of caution, but I talked to a friend of mine that lives about 20 miles west of here, and he got 3.5 inches of rain last night, so it was probably a good thing we did. So we got 4 tenths yesterday afternoon, 4 tenths last night, and another 2 tenths today. So, but like I said, finally this afternoon, it's the weather. You can just feel it in the air. It's dry. The air is getting drier. So.
The syrup house, there's just a lot of water sitting in the lawn in front of there, but no water really gets in there.
We got drainage in the lawn there, so it will fill in there, but it will run out when the water table finally goes down. And I did pump water up the other barn today because I think what little ground's so saturated up there is just, you can see it kind of seeping through the walls even, and so it's getting in the drop. And it takes us a little bit to get the water out so we can get the manure out easier.
So we should compare it to the flood last year in springtime.
Yeah. I mean, we were kind of expecting that.
They kind of forecasted it more.
Because of the snow. Or
it would have been.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of snow cover. Or no, that was last year.
It was 20.
Yeah.
When I started the channel, it would have been around that time.
Yeah, we were kind of expecting that. This happened just so fast.
Yeah, that came all day.
Yeah. And this was just like 20 minutes and things got hammered. So. Does milk production slow down? Well, we had to adjust the cows because they weren't going out. We did drop just a little bit of milk. It's muddy. So yeah, it's affecting a little bit.
They came up a little bit a couple days ago.
What, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week they're calling. Tomorrow's like 50% chance of rain, and then after that it just needs to dry out, and we're a little more back to normal here. The other barn pretty much too, but I think probably have to pump a little water still again this week. So.
But this week is looking drier in the forecast,
but
which is
we're not going to be able to get in the fields.
Yeah.
To do any. And a lot of the bigger farms around here, they have not made much dry hay this year just because it got wet at the wrong time. We've been pretty fortunate. We got our second cutting all chopped. Forage wise, as long as the corn does pretty good for silage, we should be in pretty good shape.
I noticed the beans here behind the barn. I had to climb up the one smaller silo today so I could see over the field and out where they flooded. They look like they're greening up again, which is good.
Was there any injuries in your family yesterday? We were just about done cleaning the cornfield out. We had some friends and family come, and we cleaned what trash and debris that was kind of house related, stuff. And Kendall got smacked in the face with a flexible hose they were trying to dig out, and it caught her in the cheek and cut her cheek a little bit. She ended up going to the emergency room just to get it cleaned up. She's got it. They got it like kind of glue and just butterfly stitches on her. She didn't get any stitches, but just butterfly bandages on it. So.
Where did the lawnmower come from in the last video?
The one was the neighbor's that it smashed his trailer in his garage. The one we're not sure where it come from yet. So,
I didn't show that one yet.
there's
one way
down past
at the end of the cornfields where we don't even plant anything.
Yeah, I mean, you found a brand new ceiling fan yesterday.
Still in the box and taped up.
They're
a hot
small
water
freezer. There's a hot water tank, and the guy said it wasn't his, so we're not sure where that come from. There was a portable air conditioner too. I ended up taking to scrap.
Yeah, so yesterday we cleaned up a lot in the fields, threw it in the buckets and dump wagon we got, and then made a big pile.
Probably get a dumpster in after I'm getting a thumb for the mini excavator so we can clean up a lot of the bigger rock that they put in to hold the road in some places ended up in the field. So we got to clean them up, plus a lot of the trees and stuff. The bridge up there got plugged up bad, and that's part of the reason it took out so much stuff the way it did. There must have been a 30-foot area of just trees that just jammed into that bridge.
Now there's some questions here, not really flood related, but we can do them too. How many cows do we milk? We're at 51.
We're milking 52 right now, I think, or 51. Yeah, I guess we dried one off the other day. So usually we stay right around 50 or between 40 and 50 usually. We do have a few due, but I think we're going to have enough to dry off to take care of them. So,
is there anything we can do to prevent future flooding?
That was, I think we still would have had a flood. Part of our issue around here is creeks are so full of gravel. There's no place for the water to go. And it's actually up there. The neighbor had got a permit last year to clean the creek. And I looked at it yesterday, and it's like he didn't even do anything because the amount of gravel that come down through and filled in, it's like he didn't even touch it. So
I see we're getting a few donations. Thanks for them. There's a house, or 3 houses right by the heifer farm and the corn that got knocked down. One had a garage that got destroyed and water came in there, and then 2 houses that they lost.
We've heard they condemned the one house since. So, plus the trailer and with the garage at, that's totally destroyed too. So
we have drainage ditches to control flow of water.
Yeah, a lot of diversion ditches in this area, especially with the hills. Like behind us here, we really don't have, with that being pasture, we don't have much. There's areas where the water comes down through, but most of our ground is flat, so we really don't have. I'd say we got maybe one area where we have a ditch to help control the direction of the water. So how much rain have we gotten in total? I think it's like probably 15 inches since 1st of July. We got that night we got 2.5, but we heard the towns up above on the hills there where the water was coming from. We heard they got up to 4 or 5 inches in like 20 minutes. So,
do farms in the area help each other with feed if they have a good crop?
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think. It was 9 years ago I sold my milking herd, and I had extra corn that year, so it was a dry year that year. I ended up selling some feed to one of the bigger farms because I didn't need as much. Your bigger farms, they'll sell to some of the smaller guys around too, some silage. But there's getting fewer and fewer of us all the time around here. When I moved here, there was probably 40 dairies up this valley, and there's 2 now. Landon be taking over the farm full time one day. Kendall's kind of off in the back here. Kendall's more into the cows. Landon's more into the field work and equipment. So that's going to be a decision up to them.
What do you think about my YouTubing?
As far as promoting agriculture, I think it's better than some of the things that some of the programs that we've had promoting milk forever. So farmers have lost control of their milk market. We don't have no say anymore. I switched co-ops a little over a year ago. Well, it'll be a year in October, I guess. I've had a lot of people ask me if any better, and I says, well, I feel like I'm not paying a lot of people that do absolutely nothing. Is it totally better? Milk's based off the Chicago Mercantile, and then your co-ops adjust it basically to where they want to pay. So,
Have you been dairy farming all your life?
Yeah, I grew up on a dairy farm. Actually, that farm they just quit milking cows on in January. There was a guy renting it. My brother's still on that farm. That was a farm my grandfather owned. I rented a farm for 3 years before I bought this farm. That was my grandfather's farm that my aunt and uncle owned. It was 2000 when I moved here. Kendall is actually his sister. So what is the history of our farm? It'll be 25 years ago this fall when I started on my own, when I rented a place. So pretty much always had registered Holsteins. I grew up on a registered Holstein farm that my dad run and my brothers run up until probably about 6 years ago, and then they rented their farm. They run some beef now. Had a sister that she was married to a farmer. They sold their cows here probably 4 or 5 years ago. Dad had 3 brothers that all farmed. my dad, he farmed on the farm that my grandmother grew up on. And so farming's pretty much in our whole family. So
And then we got some cousins that.
Yeah, I have a nephew they're milking cows right now. But other than that, we're the last Jenkins to be farming of all my dad's brothers and stuff. None of his, or I shouldn't say farming, but have a dairy. So,
did the heavy rains affect the saplings?
We haven't checked them yet.
I haven't checked them, but
I don't think it probably did too much. So we haven't really been up on this hill much. We've been
staying here.
Yeah, been a lot of work just keeping the barns going and cleaning trash. And I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. We just finally crashed for a while. So.
Were we affected by the high feed prices, or are we?
Our protein mix, soybean mix, yeah. Where I grow a lot. I usually get enough shell corn of my own, so I don't have to pay for corn. We're going to be cutting it close this year with what I have on storage, whether I'm going to have to buy any corn. I did not have to buy any through that really high spell. I mean, it has come back some, but that's part of the reason we don't milk this barn full is I feel I'm better off milking what I can feed without having to truck a lot of stuff in. Trucking's what kills you, I feel, anymore. So on your feed or anything.
So, not this week, but next week is our county fair. We'll be showing cows Tuesday. And then the Holsteins Tuesday. And jerseys. We have
a couple jerseys on Thursday.
Yeah. And then Holsteins again on Saturday. Then after the fair, there's a different show. That's on Tuesday of the following week. So, we'll be busy that week.
And the joke around here is it always rains Troy Fair week, so we're hoping it dries out this week because we know we're going to get rain that week. So. Do we get any sleep? Like, I slept this afternoon. I fair this time of year, I usually put in 14, 16-hour days. Fall at night, cut back to 12. There's days I just crash, yeah. So. Direct marketing, niche marketing, raw milk. We do have somebody that does sell cheese curds not too far from us. There's another guy that's building and small processing, has a small farm. There's another small farm in the area that does processing. We've talked about it. It's a possibility in the future. It's not something I feel I'm in a position where I should take advantage of. I'm going to let the kids, if they decide they want to come back and want to do that, then that's something, we might try to do. We're not sure yet. So.
I'll try and video a little bit while we're at the fair and showing, take a few pictures and stuff.
Yeah, what do we got? 9
Yeah, well,
9 animals, I guess we're going to take.
Do we have staff to help milk, or do we do it ourselves?
I'd say 90 to 95% of it we do ourselves. If we go away, we get some people to help. So, we had 3 people help when we went to Lancaster. And they do a really good job. Those 3 people do. So.
And do we show at any national level shows?
No, we haven't. It's been, I think, about 15 years since I took a cow even to a state show. State had some district shows in the area. This year they're not having one right here in this area, so we're probably not going to go to that, any of them. So how do we get the crops back that we lost? Hopefully some of the corn will pop back. We can chop it. Some of it's just I told somebody the other day, I think I had probably more damage from deer last year than this flood probably is going to end up affecting, because you get a dry year, the deer just hammer the corn and they really do some damage. So
Mine 4-H and FFA. Yeah, this year was my first year of FFA.
This will be Kendall's last year of 4-H. So